Good morning to you, and thanks for being with us on air and on WFAA Plus this Wednesday morning. I'm Matt Howerton.
And I'm Dia Wall. Our top story this morning is concerning new data out of Fort Worth ISD when it comes to discipline for students. We'll dig into that in just a bit. First, though, meteorologist Greg Fields, traffic anchor Erica Lopez joining us here at the desk. You've been busy.
It's busy. A handful of crashes across Dallas, Tarrant County, so I'll get you all up to speed coming up in a couple minutes.
And we're getting some warmer weather on the way here. It's also a little bit breezy out.
It's still breezy out there for you this morning, but the temperatures, they are going to soar as we go through the next few days. In fact, those unseasonably warm temperatures will be sticking around, so that's one of the things you do need to know heading on out this morning. Nice clear skies from our downtown Dallas tower cam right now. That elevated fire threat, it does continue today, although not quite as high as it was yesterday. But the winds will be lighter, but yes, it will stay very warm despite a cold front that's going to move through late tonight, early tomorrow. We will see maybe some changes on the way, an overall pattern shift as we get into next week. So we'll talk more about that coming up here in just a moment as well. But for right now, getting you out to our studios here in downtown Dallas. We do have 57 degrees. The winds still kind of breezy out there, out of the south at 15. We'll see some gusts up over 20, but the winds will ease up a little bit more as we go through the day. So the kids heading out to the bus stop around 8 a.m., they're going to be looking at temperatures climbing back through the lower 60s. We're going to be looking at some mid-upper 70s as we head toward noontime today, and then coming home, plenty of sunshine, lower 80s. So maybe a light jacket heading out the door this morning. Otherwise, no issues out there for us here for today. But we'll have more on your forecast looking ahead on into next week as well, coming up in just a bit. But now let's get back over to Erica checking on traffic.
Greg, thank you. 6:32. Traffic impact is busy out here, so very congested. We've got a crash I-30 westbound and 2nd Avenue. It's just kind of up ahead of where you're seeing almost the full stop on the interstate. Quick check of the big map. Still some green, but a lot of red in those areas where we have wrecks reported. Westbound I-30, again, where we were just looking 2nd Avenue, we do have delays out this way. If you need to head out this way soon, I'm going to recommend 78 or 352 as good detours because we're all green on those additional roadways running parallel to I-30. So just think about that as you get ready to leave the house. 75, we are following a wreck. This is on the northbound side. It's actually at Southwestern this morning. Right now, it looks like we've got at least a left lane closure. Several other crashes we're tracking. I'll show you the rest of them coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thank you so much, Erica. Right now, Fort Worth ISD says it has new data showing African-American students are being punished more than other peers.
It came up in a board meeting with district leaders saying that they're wanting and working to fix it. Tiffany Liu is in the newsroom now after looking at those numbers. And Tiffany, does the district have a plan?
Yeah, and it sounds like they're working on that plan. Fort Worth ISD says it has that discipline gap and it's not closing fast enough. Superintendent Karen Molinar shared this slide with the school board. African-American students make up 20% of the district, but 35% of discipline referrals. The district has a goal to cut that gap to 12% by the end of this school year, but she admits they won't hit it. They are now looking at ways to change this inequality.
How are we engaging them in their learning every single day? So we're not looking at just discipline referrals, but considered behavior, but also when we're looking at, we're going in and we're seeing what does that classroom environment look like for our African-American students.
And the superintendent says the data they have now is robust and they will work to support teachers and students to reduce that discrepancy. Matt.
All right. Thank you so much, Tiffany. The district also voting not to adopt a new prayer policy. It would have carved out time during the school day for prayer or reading religious texts. District leaders say students already have the right to pray individually or in groups during non-instructional time, and they believe their current policies protect religious expression.
9 grieving families say the state failed them. Now they're suing Texas over their daughter's deaths at Camp Mystic. The federal lawsuit claims state officials approved the camp's license, even though it did not have a required evacuation plan. Camp Mystic plans to reopen this summer, but at a different location.
There is no doubt in my mind, none, that if there was a plan in place, there was 100% chance that these girls would still be with us. And that is going to haunt me for the rest of my life.
Now, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is urging regulators not to issue a new license. We reached out to the state for comment and have not heard back.
The roaring economy is roaring like never before, and our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked, and America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
In the longest State of the Union speech in American history, President Trump making his case directly to voters, trying to sway them to stay with the GOP.
Touting his accomplishments ahead of the midterm elections. ABC's senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is joining us live from the White House now. And Rachel, the president said the country is winning. What were some of the accomplishments that he really wanted to highlight?
Yeah, Dee and Matt, good morning to you both. Look, the president was clearly looking for a reset here. He is keenly aware that he is now facing some of his toughest poll numbers yet, his worst approval ratings in his second term in office. And so the president came before the American people in this address, breaking records, the longest in history, 1 hour and 48 minutes. And he really tried to project a lot of confidence when it came to the economy. You mentioned he said that the United States is winning. He also floated some new economic programs, including a new retirement plan. And then he also talked a lot about a lot of his hardline immigration policies, really defending those efforts. That led to several outbursts in the room. I will tell you, I was in the chamber. You had Democratic members calling the president a liar, saying that he was corrupt, saying that he should be ashamed of himself. At some points, the president firing back. One thing that was also really notable is that you had at least 70 Democratic lawmakers that skipped the State of the Union address altogether.
And Rachel, one last question before you go. We want to thank you for being here this morning. But President Trump spoke about tariffs, the economy, but new polling shows most Americans disapprove of his handling of the economy right now. What's fueling that disconnect?
Yeah, and Matt, this is a tough one for President Trump because this was a critical issue for him in the 2024 election. He ran on making things more affordable for the American people. And so even as the president is now projecting confidence when it comes to the economy, it's not necessarily resonating with Americans back at home. This is what we are finding, that they are still saying that they're facing higher prices and maybe in turn because of the president's tariffs too.
ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott, thank you for being with us this morning. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger delivered the Democratic response.
Since this president took office last year, his reckless trade policies have forced American families to pay more than $1,700 each in tariff costs. Small businesses have suffered, farmers have suffered, some losing entire markets. Everyday Americans are paying the price.
Spanberger was sworn in as the first woman to become governor in Virginia last month. She delivered in her speech in a museum in Colonial Williamsburg, focusing on issues of affordability and the ways ordinary citizens have pushed back on the president's policies, including student walkouts in Texas. After delays from the city, the Dallas Wings are taking matters into their own hands.
Yeah, the team is fronting millions of dollars to move their new practice facility forward. Janelle Ford is live from UT Arlington where the team practices now. Janelle, why does the team say they need this at this moment?
Well, look, Matt and Dia, let's be real here. This is a pro team that is having to pay for space to rent from to practice and play here at a local college. And while it does get the job done, it is not their own. And there is limited control here at UTA. They're having to share these facilities with the college's athletic department. There's limited branding. And in today's WNBA, teams are investing heavily in dedicated world-class facilities to attract and develop top talent. That's why this new practice facility is such a big deal. It would finally give the Wings a permanent home base that's state-of-the-art, built specifically for the team and part of their long-term move into Dallas proper. Now, originally, the city of Dallas was supposed to deliver this, but after delays, the team got tired of waiting. They are now stepping in and fronting millions of dollars to get development underway on a quicker timeline. The total cost of the project has now climbed to about $81 million. The city is still paying $54 million, but the Wings are now covering the difference up front to speed up construction. Now, the facility will also include 3,400 square feet of community space and soccer fields. And this is just on the practice side. The team is also getting a brand new arena at the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center. And as of right now, both of these facilities are expected to be complete by next year.
And just one quick thing, Janelle, that's a lot of money to put forward from the Wings. This is all going on while the entire WNBA is in the middle of some pretty intense labor negotiations on top of that.
Yeah, the players in the league right now are still working through a new collective bargaining agreement, and two of the top issues that they're facing right now have to do with pay and facilities. So the teams have been and players have been very vocal about making more money, and practice spaces and travel conditions are now nowhere near what their NBA counterparts enjoy. So the Wings, they know that if they want to keep attracting top athletes like Paige Beckers, they're going to have to offer more across the board. So a lot to follow here. Sending it back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, Janelle out there in Arlington for us. Thanks for being there this morning. Now to a snapshot of news that you need to see. Americans no longer need to shelter in place, but U.S. officials say caution still advised after the killing of a high-profile Mexican drug lord. ABC News video shows burned-out buses being towed from the streets of Puerto Vallarta. Violence broke out there and across Jalisco after the death of El Mencho on Sunday. Flights are back to normal, but State Department travel advisories remain in place. A man in Ohio tried to run from a traffic stop and thought he found the perfect hiding spot next to Oscar the Grouch inside a trash can. One problem, it was trash day. Watch as a garbage worker lifts the lid, finds the man inside. The worker quickly flags down police, and the suspect jumps out and takes off running before leaving his shoes behind. He was eventually caught and arrested. Yeah, you don't want to see that in your neighborhood. A wayward bull has people on edge in Hockley, just southeast of Houston. This guy's a repeat offender. The bull keeps getting loose from its pasture, and while no one has managed to catch it, plenty of neighbors have caught it on camera. Sheriffs say the bull is getting through a break in the fence that it's usually behind, but they haven't been able to reach the person leasing the land just yet. So yeah, this guy is absconding from his pasture quite often. They want to prevent that from happening.
I'm going to need the owner to get on the job, okay?
Right, yeah.
It is 6:42 on your Wednesday morning, and here's what's ahead in the next 20 minutes on Daybreak. Early voting is underway, and if getting inside the polling place is tough, there's an easier option you should know about. We're breaking it down at 6:50.
And a diet that could help protect your brain. New research shows one eating plan may lower your risk of dementia by 40%. And it starts with what's on your plate.